Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out the latest trailers as well as like a dev diary for S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl. And I know that S.T.A.L.K.E.R is a really beloved game. And there's actually 3 games, or it's like a game and a couple of expansions. I don't know. I didn't play the original. And I know that there's a lot of people that really love S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And it's one of those games that is just like a beloved classic. And now we're finally seeing a sequel for it, made with modern design, modern graphics, modern ability and stuff. And I've talked to some people about that are really excited about S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, and I'm like, hey, how does S.T.A.L.K.E.R 1 hold up? And it's like, well, it kind of doesn't, is the way that I've been informed. And as an example, I recently played through Devil May Cry, the very first game. I played the HD edition where they cleaned it up, right, and brought it to modern consoles. And I gotta say, Devil May Cry 1 today plays like garbage poo-poo. I'm sure 22 years ago, Devil May Cry was an incredible experience. I didn't have a PlayStation 2, so I didn't get to play it. But playing it today, I was like, man, this camera, who the fuck thought this camera was a good idea? This camera is atrocious. There's a few gameplay things in it that I'm like, this is awful. And it could be because they had limitations or whatever. And it was just not a very good experience. Now, that comes from somebody with modern perspective of having played lots of games in the time since then, since Devil May Cry 1, and comparing. It's really hard to disconnect yourself of what modern games do compared to games in the past. You can recognize a game in the past and be like, this was built and was incredible. This was cutting edge back then, and it does not hold up very well today. It still looks okay, but it doesn't play very well. And I've heard very similar things about S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Is this something that I should try? Is it as good as people said? And they're like, well, it was as good as they said. With mods, it can hold up, but it doesn't hold up at all. I will just leave it. I will leave it in the past then. I know it's in my Steam library, but I will leave it in the past all the same. And instead, I will just hopefully get a similar quality experience from S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Now, Eve, you mentioned I'm excited for this game again now. One of the reasons that I know a lot of people are like, S.T.A.L.K.E.R, fuck you, is because the devs got interested in maybe doing some NFT bullshit. No fucking thanks. And they got a lot of pushback when it came to them adding NFTs into S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. And they realized that it was probably going to cause more damage to their game than they were going to make money from NFTs, so they abandoned that, thankfully. But, so we will check out the actual game, the official trailer for it, and then we'll check out the dev diaries, because it is a very important dev diary about where the devs are at in terms of developing S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. So let's get into this.
Last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or ST.A.L.K.E.R for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world far outweigh the potential risks.
How big are these risks exactly?
Calamitous.
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one, fearing change. But tell me, do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods.
Going a little fast there, it looks, buddy.
However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
I'm sure everything's fine. Man, that sure didn't show us jack crap, did it? The initial trailer for Stalker 2 showed us way more than that. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure everything's fine. Speaking of things we need to check out, is fucking Starfield. But anyway, they're taking the Skyrim intro, waking up in the back of a carriage. I mean, maybe. First day on the job, please allow me to say every acronym. Oh, Jesus, Cerulean, aren't you right? Good Lord. Okay, so this is the Stalker 2 dev diaries, and this is what I was also mentioning earlier, is that Stalker 2 is developed by a team of game developers that are originally based in Kyiv, Ukraine. And if you are somehow not aware, Russia is currently invading Ukraine, trying to take back lands that they believe belong to them because back when, Soviet Union was around, they were much larger, and they've since lost some of these lands, and they believe that they should still own them. And, well, the free world is like, nah, screw you. Stop trying to, oppress people because you're a whiny bitch. And Ukraine has been fighting for its freedom, literally. And well, that meant that a lot of really great games that were going to be coming out of Ukraine, understandably, got delayed. Or games that were coming out of Russia as well, because Russia kind of went dark for quite a while. We've started to hear some communications from teams in Russia, and some of them are still working, but everything is very much up in the air when it comes to development teams that are out of Ukraine or Russia. Games that are effective, of course, like our Stalker 2. We've also seen Atomic Heart, games like the Day Before Tomorrow. I can't remember what it was called, but from the devs behind Prop Night. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty, which is fine. It's understandable. If you're upset about that, you suck. But this is actually a video from the devs, because I do know from seeing a couple screenshots that some of the devs are actually fighting in that war right now. So let's take a look and see what they would like to share with us.
1-1-3.
Man, modern game design using motion capture is so fucking cool.
Здесь кипела работа, идеи, она не останавливалась. 3 месяца назад началась война России с Украиной.
Шок от робочий день начинается с тривоги.
Під час сильних обстрілів ми біжимо в укриття. Це переноска для мого кота, який загинув ще в перший тиждень війни. Виходиш вечором, сирена, выходишь днем, сирена. Днем еще работать надо, поэтому особо не выйдешь, а вечером все время вот так.
Це моє робоче місце.
Вже 3-й місяць я живу і працюю в коридорі. Зі мною живе одноокий пес, врятований з-під обстрілу в Гостомелі. Зараз мені важко писати квести про війну, коли вона йде навколо.
Так работает в перерывах между сиренами
и волонтерскими задачами.
Світ ще побачить, наскільки в нас класна культура, і в тому числі, наскільки класні ігри ми можемо робити.
Меня зовут Александр. Я являюсь сотрудником компании ЖСК. Я с Мариуполя. С начала боевых действий была потеряна связь с моими родными и близкими. И это непередаваемое, ужасное чувство, когда ты не знаешь, живы они или нет.
Я Дмитро Ясенєв, розробник Сталкера. Ніколи не міг уявити, що в 21 столітті, в центрі Європи, може статися повномасштабна війна.
Я Олексій Іванов, ком'юніті-менеджер проекту Сталкер 2. Зі зброєю в руках захищаю свою країну від російської агресії.
Привіт, я Макс, наративний дизайнер гри Stalker 2. Після перемоги я до неї повернуся.
Побачимось на релізі. Слава Україні!
Fucking Xbox. God damn it. You watch that whole chilling video of watching people that like don't know if their parents are alive, that are walking through where they literally just had a video a week earlier of playing with their kids on a playground, and like people that have volunteered for the armed forces to defend their country from a tyrannical oppressor and an invasion and stuff like that. And then it's like, Xbox. God damn it. Oh my God. As much as I want to make a joke comment, as I sometimes do in either your live streams or your YouTube comments, I really cannot hear it. It's because there is no way to make a joke. Like, you could say that I just made one, but that's because of the comically shit-tastic timing of playing this goddamn Xbox logo. Support Ukraine. Xbox. Like, Xbox. Like, what are you doing, guys? You didn't need to put this on here. That was awful. It should have stopped right here. It should have stopped right here. This should have been the last screen, not Xbox. That should not have been on there. But regardless, I thankfully cannot imagine what these people and developers are going through. I'm glad that I cannot imagine it. I'm glad that I struggled to create that type of scenario in my head. I'm glad that I don't have to try to think about what it's like trying to still do your job, develop a game, and not just develop a game. It'd be one thing if you were making fucking Bejeweled, right? You're working on new levels for Bejeweled, right? No, they're making a game that is now basically akin to their reality. They're developing models for a shelled out city that is literally not very far away from them, right? Because they're looking at Chernobyl, the actual, meltdown of a nuclear reactor that is next door. So they're modeling their own city, and now they just get to go, oh man, I need a shelled out building. Let me look out the window. Yeah, that one, that's a good reference. There we go. Cool. That was easy. At least it'll be more realistic than anything before, I guess, but that's not how you want to achieve that level of realism. But I wish the best for everybody. I hope as much as everybody can be that you're safe, and I hope that all of this stupid-ass bullshit is over as soon as possible. It should have already been over, but world politics is stupid, is the best way that I can just summarize that. World politics is stupid, and this shouldn't have happened in the first place and shouldn't have been allowed to go on as long as it has been. And the fact that it is still going on now while I'm talking is ridiculous. It is simply and utterly ridiculous. But, yeah. So, I know that I will be getting Stalker 2 on release, not just because of the legacy that the franchise has, but because games like this, like I'll compare it to like Fallout, right? Now, obviously, Fallout is a completely different beast, completely different game, but it's got a similar like base concept of this like dystopian, destroyed, almost post-apocalyptic setting where you're using modern like cobbled together weird machinations and dealing with the, well, fallout of nuclear events. Obviously, Fallout, Stalker, very different base concepts. I don't feel like Fallout ever tries to be very suspenseful, right? It's more of like a grand tale. It's more of an adventure. Whereas everything I've heard about Stalker is it's much more dire, gruesome, dark, dour. And so they're kind of like lights and darks of the same universe, right? Fallout is that skipping adventure, and then you have Stalker, which is the dark underside of everything. Chernobylite was really when it came out to it all as well. I still need to actually play that. I actually downloaded it recently, but again, time. But yes, Chernobylite very much is in that same setting. So I definitely have a lot of interest in Stalker 2, but also I want to support these devs as much as possible because there is nothing that can be compared to like what we just were shown, right? I can't speak much more words than that because the words don't really exist, because as much as we'd like to believe that there's always a right thing to say, there isn't. And so I will just leave it at that and ask you what your thoughts are on Stalker 2. I don't believe there's much of a conversation to be had about the war in Ukraine. I don't think that there needs to be a whole lot said about it. If you would like to express your support for the devs, by all means, go ahead. But I will say that I don't believe that there's much room for a discussion to be had about it beyond it fucking sucks. And so, but let me know what your thoughts are on Stalker 2, and especially if you've played Stalker 1, what your experience with it has been. And if you've played it more than once, or if you played it recently after not playing it, or if you revisited it recently after playing it many, many years before, I'd really love to know how it felt for you and how it feels to now see Stalker 2 approaching. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. And speaking of Discord, we have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can watch together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.